I am just the bridge between the average person and the doctor. So what's a patient advocate? Let's talk.
Light up. Light up. Light up. Yeah.
So let's say you're in the hospital room and something's going really, really wrong, or you're incapacitated, or you need help, or you feel like the doctor's gaslighting you, something like that. The nurse isn't giving you enough medication, yada, 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 whatever. You have the right to call for a patient advocate, and that hospital will send that patient advocate up to help you with your situation. A lot of times when you have situations that you need help navigating, you can ask your insurance for a patient navigator, and sometimes they'll provide somebody who can help you book appointments, which is really, really helpful. It's really helpful, especially when you're really sick, or you have dementia, or you can't remember when your appointments are, or there's a whole log of reasons why you could need that, but it's very helpful. But in my situation, I thought that there was a little bit of a gap in a way that patient advocacy could also work, and that was in the doctor's appointments themselves. So a lot of times I feel like if you are sick, you are also going to the doctor's appointments. It's really hard to remember all your symptoms and rattle them off to a doctor in a scientific way that they could understand, especially since I feel like doctors are speaking one language and patients are speaking a sick language, and they are not the same language. And sometimes when you're sick, it's non-viable. I know, I've been there, I've done it. I've gone into doctor's appointments where all I've done is just like blurt out nonsense. And I feel like it's not my fault. Anxiety in being sick is very difficult, and finally getting a doctor's appointment could put a lot of pressure on you to succeed in that doctor's appointment. So I felt like I needed a patient advocate. And my mom couldn't always come with me to all my doctor's appointments, but somebody that could sit there with me or speak up for me when I felt like I was too weak to speak up for, or somebody who can ask questions when I was too sick to even ask questions. Sometimes that's as simple as somebody even taking notes when I'm too sick to even pay attention to the doctor's appointment. Being sick is difficult. So sometimes literally having second ears in the room is very helpful. So I thought that I was sitting at home being slightly disabled and sick anyways. I thought that I could rig the TikTok shop where I make money through the TikTok shop, where then I make this my full-time job, because the TikTok shop was so helpful. And I have been really successful. I mean, obviously right now I'm holding like 2 full-time jobs because they are 2 very big jobs, but I am very happy to say that I don't charge patients, and I get to sit in their doctor's appointments and take notes. But I will have some people on here that I have worked with that are willing to share their cases. Some of them really, really magical, really incredible. And sadly, not all of them are here to tell their story, but some people that have also advocated for them and I've seen grow into advocates. I'm really excited to have them on the show in the future and get to share their experience. Patient advocacy looks very different, and I think people think that it looks like me going in appointments and being like, I object. Oh, no, that's not always what it looks like. What it does look like is, hey, why aren't we doing this blood test? Or, hey, did you test for mono? Because she's got all the symptoms for mono. Where's the test for mono? That's most of the time what I'm doing, is just picking up the pieces that they can't always see. They're one person, and they obviously aren't always specialists in the situation. I'm not a specialist. I don't admit to be a specialist. I am that person to join the team that can just help you take notes, track symptoms, maybe track appointments, come with you to appointments virtually, obviously. And, if you get too overwhelmed, a lot of times if a patient starts to get too choked up or overwhelmed, then I kind of have the ability and I know what's going on with them. I can say, hey doc, this is what's going on. They'll tap out and basically have me come in, and then I can finish their sentence for them. Most of the time, that's all I'm doing. That's literally it. One of the other things that I mostly do is educate patients on what doctor to see. That's like my main job is like, patients will come to me and they don't know that all their symptoms are pointing towards going to a rheumatologist, right? But they keep going to their primary care, and maybe their primary care is doing all the blood work and their blood work keeps coming back normal. Well, I come in and I say, hey, why? Okay, you say it's normal. They're still in pain to the point where they can't work. Can you refer them to a rheumatologist? Can you refer them to a specialist in this situation? Can we dive deeper? And a lot of times the doctor will be like, okay, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Let's go. I'll write it up right now. Here's your referral for your rheumatologist, or I didn't even think about checking your thyroid. Here's your endocrinologist referral. All I had to do was walk in the room and say, hey, did we check the thyroid? That's it. I'm not like arguing with doctors. I'm not yelling at doctors. I'm literally just an extra detective in the room looking at the case. And sometimes, like, I don't claim to know much of anything. I just claim to know what information I have in front of me. And again, I just speak a little bit of both to help them communicate to each other to get better care. And I feel like that's it. That's all I do. I feel like there was a huge gap in patient advocacy. That's what it was. And then one day I realized that I could do this slightly disabled. And then one day I realized that my disabled friends, like my friends with, tubes and feeding tubes and all of these things, they are the best patient advocates. Because they've literally like experienced the pain of things, and then they're learning the knowledge by experience. So they're not necessarily, they're just in the room taking notes, being like, oh, hey, did you do this? This is a symptom I've experienced or I've heard before. Especially it's great for people who are disabled to do it virtually, because they can do this from the comfort of their own home. They can sit in their own bed and do appointments. And honestly, that's my dream one day, is to have this. Obviously you can't charge people for this, but to have people who could do this as a job really use their skills. Like, when I say there are so many powerful people in this country who have like so much medical advocacy knowledge just because they experienced it, and people are looking at them like they can't work. I'm literally like, they are the best advocates, and you're just letting them sit there. Like, their brains. Like, we need to use their brains, like, from one sick girl to another. So if you're a sick person, so this goes out to all sick people, all chronically ill people. If you are chronically ill and you got a chronically ill friend, go be their friend and offer to go to their doctor's appointments with them and take notes. You would be surprised what big of a difference just having another person in the room would do. Literally. And you're not like judging the doctor. You're not watching the doctor do his job. No. You're helping them look at things that they can't always look. They literally get 30 minutes a visit with you, and they see you once every whenever. So they could use the help, and no one's shaming them. That's just how the system is built. So let's help each other out. Offer your chronically ill friends that in exchange, and maybe we could start a community. And I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But if you've done this before, I would love to hear it. Please message me or put it down below in the comments. I genuinely would love to hear more stories of people doing advocacy like this, because I feel like your medical story and quite frankly, your health is a team effort. It has to be. Nobody will have all the answers. Not one person will have all the answers. So you can't just go to one doctor. You got to go to a specialist. So, use the team. And so all in all, your medical health is a team effort. That's just how I feel. So I love to hear your opinion as always. And thank you for listening. Thank you for buying off of my TikTok shop always, because that's basically how I've been able to do this. And we don't know how that's going to go, but fingers crossed. It'll be fine. But yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. As always, if you need anything, I'm here for you. And stay out of trouble. Most importantly, stay beautiful. Bye. She's so cute. You look so beautiful with your clamshell lighting, my love.